Hey guys, welcome back for another reaction. Today I'll be reacting to the don'ts of Poland. Let's get into this.
Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Walter, and today we're in Warsaw, Poland, for things you don't do when you are here in Poland. And I'm going to get off started, not even with number one. Before we even get started with number one, I want to start with number zero. The thing you need to know before you come here is
Zero.
don't tell or call the Polish Eastern Europeans. You will not make any friends saying that. If you look on a map, you'll see that Poland is actually in the center of Europe, a little bit north, but it's in the center of Europe. And they like to be called Central Europeans, not Eastern Europeans. So I want to get that one out of the way
Interesting.
first because that's probably your quickest don't to really upset people. So remember, don't say Eastern Europe, okay? Now, when you're going to meet the
Okay.
Polish people here, our second, or I guess our first don't for you is don't shake hands or say goodbye over the threshold, like in a doorway. People really
Oh,
don't like that. So
really?
either make it choose your side. Are you in the door or are you out of the door when you shake hands and
What?
say goodbye? Just one of those little things there. And if you do get to meet some Polish people and they invite you to your home, when you go there, if you see they're wearing slippers or they're not wearing shoes, you don't wear your shoes in the house either. It's kind of rude that way. So just three
Ah,
quick little ones to start
yeah.
off with, just to give you some ideas of hospitality here in Poland. So our next don't for you.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense because it's very disrespectful to wear your dirty shoes inside somebody's house. That's really rude. Because it's dirty. Why would you bring it inside? You could bring some bacteria back into someone's house. And you can't say goodbye at the doorstep. Where are you going to say goodbye then? That's weird. Usually you wave goodbye when you're at the doorstep, right? I don't know. Okay.
Who has to deal with the language. Look, don't underestimate how helpful a few words of Polish will be for you and your visit here, whether you're up in Gdansk, you're down in Krakow or Lublin or wherever, because we all know that no one watching this video probably speaks Polish unless you're Polish by ancestry. And the thing
Yeah. Makes
is the
sense.
Poles know that, and so they learn. They see a lot of people speaking English or German or Russian and stuff like that to help out the tourists. But the thing is, if you know a few words in Polish, it really opens the door. Like people are really happy, even if it's just like dziękuję, which is like thank you, or prosim, which is please, or pivo,
Oh,
which is beer. I remember I was like, pivo prosim. They're like, oh hey, they were so happy with it, and it really goes a long way to
really?
open up to people because you'll notice that people seem kind of dour and quiet and stern sometimes, and that's one way to open them up. Okay.
Yeah, I
Now our
guess.
next
That
don't
makes
for you is
sense.
don't worry about busting the bank when you come here to Poland. Poland is an extremely affordable country to visit. Hotels, eating, drinking, all kinds of
Oh,
stuff, making merry. It is really cheap here. Also, going to the museums is really affordable as well. So
like
it's a
how
nice place to
cheap?
check out. That's why when you go to Krakow, they get 10 million tourists from high-end tourists to low income, not low income, but people that are spending a lot of money on tourism because it's not an expensive place to be. So that's a kind of a cool thing. Now, my fifth don't for you kind of goes along with that cheap eating and drinking. Don't drink in public in Poland. Look, you can get arrested or fined for
Oh,
drinking in public. Now, you see this nice square here. Yes, you can eat and drink at the restaurants and the bars like that, no problem. But if you're gonna like take some wine or a beer, some of the local beer, which are pretty good here, and go take that to a park and drink there with your friends, you can get in trouble with the cops. So make sure you do not drink in public. To go along with that, don't forget you need to have an ID with you all the time. If you don't want to carry your passport with you, what I do is I'll actually have my
oh,
driver's license from home and a photocopy of my passport with my passport locked up back at the hotel. So you do have that because the cops could ask you for it if they really wanted to. They usually don't
really?
bother the tourists, so it's not that big of a deal, but just in case so you know. Now, our next
That's a good tip. Now I'll always have to carry my ID with me or like my passport with me. I actually don't do it when I travel, but yeah, I guess that makes sense because if anything happens to you, then there would be identification that you could show, or the cops would ask for your identification, then you have something to show. Yeah, that makes sense. Now I'll carry it all the time. You mentioned that Poland is really cheap. Like, how cheap? How much is the hotel per night? Like, how much does it cost per meal?
don't for you is don't try to pay with big bills. Now, big bills are like 50 sweaties or 100 sweaties, like 100 or
Oh.
50. If it's like under 20, because people ask you, oh, do you have anything smaller? They're always going to ask for a smaller bill. The thing is, when you go to the ATMs, it gives you 50s and 100s. But when you
Yeah.
go get a beer or something like that, it's 7 or 8. I'm like, oh, do you have some smaller bills? You have some smaller bills? So when you go to museums, you go to like big stores and stuff like that, use the bigger bills there, the hundreds and stuff like that, to break them into
Oh.
tens and 20s. So then you can go get your little snacks. Maybe you want your little, Polish donut, or you want to go get a hot dog or something like that when you're here,
Yummy,
or
that
just
looks
grab a
good.
beer. You need that change, okay? So don't use the big bills here, right?
Wait, do they accept cards there? Because I know there's countries that only accept cash and no cards. So I'm wondering if it's the same case in there.
Another don't I have for you is don't forget to tip when you are here. Usually you tip 10 to
Oh.
15%. 10% is normal,
Oh.
15% of it's good. But
So
you
it's
can
like
look on the
US
menu, and
too.
some restaurants already put that 10% on there. I know the place I wait here on the square. Remember, don't you're not going to bust the bank, so didn't feel ripped off because it was so cheap. The 10% was already included. She was very nice and helpful. I gave her a little bit extra on there. No big deal,
That
okay?
looks
And going
good.
along with that, when you pay your bill, they'll always ask you to pay with credit card or cash. And if you're going to pay with
Oh,
cash,
okay.
if you put the money in the little thing and give it to them, don't say thank you unless you want them to keep all the money, okay? So let's say, you got
Oh.
110 bill and you give them 150, you say thank you or dziękuję, they'll think, oh, 40 tip for me, and they'll just
Oh
walk
my
away with it.
gosh.
You need to tell them, here's this, then they'll bring your change back, and then you leave your tip like that. So you have those things there. What I try to do is just have the tip already there. Now you might tell them, look, I want to pay 140, and so they'll just have the tip from there and give you your 10 back if you have
That would be
150.
easier.
No big deal there. My 10th don't for
Yeah.
you is don't be late. The Poles are actually pretty much an on-time kind of people, like their German neighbors. If you're going to be late to somebody's house you're going to visit, make sure you call or text them or WhatsApp them before so they know you're running behind. Because it's
Yeah.
kind of rude to be late when you are here. I
Yeah,
mean,
it is
I
rude.
was at the museum this morning, and it was supposed to open up at 10. The guy unlocked it like at 10:01. And people were like, come on, it says 10 o'clock, let's go. So you do have that there. So make sure you are on time. And my last don't for you is
I know, that's so annoying. Like when somebody is late. I hate that too. That's really, really rude. Like I went to the clinic today and my appointment was supposed to be 11 a.m. So I went there at 10:50. But the doctor did not check on me until it was 12 noon. I was so disappointed. I just want to leave right away. But I didn't. So I just like, oh my gosh, that was so annoying. Really, really annoying. And I don't want to go back to that clinic anymore because why would they schedule me for 11 a.m. when they didn't check me until it's 12 noon? That's rude.
don't fall for the nature tourism propaganda in Poland. Look, you'll see lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of tourism videos about the nature of Poland. And there are some beautiful natures here. The Tatras Mountains in the south by Zakopane, when you go skiing
Oh,
in the summer, or summer,
what is
in the
that?
winter. You can go to the Masurian Lakes in the north. It's just beautiful. There's a castle there. There's all kinds of great nature here. But look, if it's your first time to Poland, focus on the cool cities that are here. Krakow
Good
is
tip.
amazing with the town square and the cloth hall and the churches and the Wawel Hill. And you can go out to see Auschwitz and Birkenau, the concentration camps. It's a very moving experience. You can go up to Gdansk in the
Oh,
very north and see that city. It's beautiful. Lublin, come here and check out
Warsaw.
Warsaw. And you can get around pretty easy. Don't worry about getting around. I guess it'll be another one. Don't worry about getting around in Poland. There's lots of buses and trains that go all over the
Oh,
place.
yeah, I've heard
It is a
that.
big country, so it does take time, but don't be too worried about it. Anyway, those are some of the don'ts we have about Poland. I actually have another don't video just for Krakow, the don'ts of Krakow, which I hope you'll check out. If you do like videos like this, we put out 2 travel videos every week, every Wednesday and Saturday. So please do click that subscribe button. We really do appreciate it. And you can always find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, obviously YouTube. And we really appreciate those likes and subscriptions. Oh, and comments. So I'll say bye from Warsaw.
Yeah, I've heard how good and convenient transportation in Poland. Like I made a video about it and that was really impressive. And that was a really good video and really informative. I would try to remember them when I visit Poland one day. I really hope I could go there when I visit Germany because I know they're just like the neighbor country. So maybe I could go there too. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.